Hey everybody, welcome back to a portfolio update. We're going to be looking at the portfolio today, but we did make a little bit of a change with one of the cryptos. So we're going to be talking about that, a little bit of a FUD alert. So we'll get into that about refinance, and then further on we will update and talk about where the portfolio is. All right, let's get into it. So guys, the big news is on REEF Finance. So we've discussed this in the last video, and I'm a huge REEF fan. I'm really bullish on the project because of what it does. So it's essentially bringing DeFi to the average man. However, there are some issues and I will outline them. So in the last video, you guys would have noticed that even I had a slip up of saying, oh, the circulating supply increased, because I remember it being some odd 2 billion when I bought it. Well, it went to 3 point something billion. I don't know. You'd have to go back into that video and double check. And now it's at $4.1 billion. So it's obviously increased, which could be concerning. And I'm going to go into all the aspects of this, so just hold on tight. So we'll look at the 30-day. Obviously, REEF has done great things, and it's definitely grown a lot. And it actually even profited my portfolio. My portfolio gained around $12 from it. And so we can see REEF definitely held around the 4 to 5 cent mark, and it's been kind of holding steady after its rise, and I predicted that it would rise a little bit higher. But obviously with this FUD, it's becoming a little bit more concerning about the prospects. Now let's go into the actual FUD for REEF. So you will find this in the comments down below. I'll put it down there. I'll put all the links actually referencing this information. A Redditor posted on Reddit about the REEF issue and why they find it concerning. There's a couple of things here that I want to point out. So one, they discuss about the increase of supply and everything else coming in, and also that this might be a way to pay for the parachain, which I'll also get into. It hasn't really been confirmed. Now, additionally, there's just a lot of issues with the presentation aspects. So you can see that the CEO wasn't really prepared with the appropriate slides, making it too blurry to even read names, which could be a red flag of just trying to pose that there's an active team. Now, just to play devil's advocate here on this point, is most parachains on Polkadot are at least vetted slightly to get a parachain. Now, that doesn't mean that scams can't get through, so it is possible. Do I think that REEF is a scam? I don't know, but what does scare me is the lack of transparency here. Obviously, risk is one thing, and you want to take risk, especially when you have a project like REEF that could revolutionize DeFi for the average person. But risk and transparency are not the same thing. There was also some instances people were asking in the Telegram chat why the increase of circulating supply had happened. And allegedly they were booted out or berated by the mod and admin staff and staff of REEF, which is concerning. And I made this post and I highlighted one big thing that I'm big on is customer service. And you need to make sure that your customer service is on point, especially when you're dealing with customers. So this particularly kind of turns me off a little bit. Now again, you can find this in the Reddit post. I'm not going to go through these, but these are the screenshots of people talking about the increases. So you can go ahead and read these in detail. Obviously, it is what it is in terms of messages and Telegram. It's not damning evidence when it comes down to Telegram, but at the same time, you would expect them to be a little bit more professional and to get an analyst's perspective on the whole situation. So we have Schwazi, who had a interesting perspective, and he's still long-term on REEF, which I am too. I would like to preface this. I am actually long-term REEF. He does mention that the Reddit posts had come out and that it's highly suggesting that REEF is a scam, which I don't exactly believe. And then he goes into the future of REEF, which I somewhat agree. And there's a couple of important points here. One, we have no idea that REEF is losing a parachain at all. As far as we know, REEF is still getting a parachain. So really, you could be safe in REEF. So he is ultimately long-term bullish on REEF, and I am too in terms of the concept. Now, I would like to at least go over this letter that was posted actually earlier today from REEF, but I'm just going to give you a synopsis. If you want to read the whole thing, by all means, link down below. But they give a little excuse, which I don't like, saying that there was a conference going on in Dubai, and I don't know what that means about customer service or what that entails. They talk about the parachain auction, which it's just an update with the parachain. But here is the part that we want, is the Q&A about the recent events. So They ask, what is the cause of the recent token supply? The gist of this is REEF has multiple third parties providing liquidity to REEF or to their order books. And they mention that liquidity is necessary in a market. And they say that they've recently had attempts by bots to obliterate the ask side of the order book, which takes away their liquidity. So they're saying that they increased the size as an emergency token release. Now, I'm not a big fan of this answer because I'm not a fan of just adding more tokens when you need it. That's kind of why we're about to be in the worst financial situation that we've ever been in. So the next question is, will the token supply change in the future? And they say that it will be capped at 20 billion once it becomes a parachain, which I suppose so, but there's nothing really outlining that. And when I go to CoinGecko, I usually expect that circulating supply, whatever that cap is to represent the cap, I don't expect that to change. And when that does change, I expect an infinity symbol there. And if it's not there, to me, you're misleading me about what the project is. So if it's 20 billion, that's fine. But I want to know that before I put my money in. So with 20 billion, that does mean that more REEF could be created under the ERC20 smart contract. Now, when it's live, I don't know what the deal will be. But ultimately, this definitely shakes me out of holding my REEF. I won't go into the rest of it because it goes into the token schedule and then some other information about REEF expanding. So my thoughts on the whole REEF situation, then I'll get into my portfolio and what we've changed. My thoughts on the whole REEF situation is that it's a small company trying to make it, and they got way in over their heads. They made some missteps, and they are probably trying to fix things without ruffling any feathers, and I don't think it's working, and I think it's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths. Now, what I'm hoping for is that the project is legit, that the team is good, and then we get a little bit more transparency over the next coming weeks and months. But I do also hope, kind of selfishly, that this FUD really starts to grow, and this really brings down the price, so we get a cheaper re-entry point. But right now, in the portfolio, I am exiting out of REEF, and we're going to get into that. Okay, so onto the portfolio. Obviously, as part of this screenshot, this was taken a couple hours ago. We're at $3,700. We've totally put in $1,800, so we've made almost $2,000. So ADA is back to 92 cents. We obviously saw that little dip there. I am really, really bullish on where ADA can go. And obviously, you guys see that there's a little bit more ADA than normal. So what I did with my REEF, I sold my REEF into USDT and I moved it into ADA, at least for the time being. This ADA could always move back to REEF, or it might get distributed to another project. But for the most part, that REEF is being moved into ADA, and then we'll deal with it once we have a clearer picture of what's happening with REEF. Polkadot's been a huge mover at $31.21. It's definitely been massive. We totally put in, I think, around the $200 when we put that in. So we've definitely grown a lot for Polkadot, which has been fantastic. And I'm a heavy proponent of Polkadot, and I hold a lot of Polkadot in my personal portfolio. So definitely happy to see it at $31. Ethereum knocking at the door of 2K with 1942. And again, this is the thing that I'm talking about ROI. We've gained way more on most of our other alts than Ethereum. Does that mean Ethereum won't do well? No, it'll do absolutely just fine. But when you're here and you're here this late into the bull run, you need to start looking at the low caps, taking a little bit of risks if you really want to make some money. That's why you don't see this portfolio being 50% Bitcoin. We'll cash out into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's our long-term hold. We're here to make a little bit of money with the least amount of capital. And we have HBAR and VET obviously pumping up a little bit. Finally, that VET is pumping, which I'm really happy that we bought some VET in the last round. We should have bought more. And Kusama. Kusama's done really well lately. A couple people in my Discord have actually talked about Kusama. It's been a big favorite of mine. I stake it on Kraken for 12% APY. If you don't have Kusama, but you are a dot bull, I would absolutely look at picking it up. It's a fabulous blockchain, great project. It's basically dot developers, and a bunch of projects that go on the dot parachains are going to be testing on Kusama first and then moving into their dot chains. On top of that, they have a bunch of other projects, and they're going to be working a lot with Polkadot DeFi, so you can expect to see Kusama as a big name in the future. We have XLM. This is something that I've slept on recently in this portfolio, not in my main portfolio. Obviously, you guys know, if some of you have watched the videos that I've started with, I am a bit of an XRP bull. And with that tends to mean that you buy some Stellar with it. But here we have Stellar and it is up. We're at 50 cents Stellar, which is fantastic. I do think Stellar can hit $1. I just don't know when. BTC is obviously up and we are still in a profit because $52,000 BTC, which is fantastic. Our XRP is also still in profit at 53 cents. Our Zilliqa is also in profit. I believe almost $50 in profit. Our BNB token, we bought some BNB last time. And if any of you took my advice and checked out PancakeSwap and bought some cake and started playing around with cake, you're going to be really happy because right now Pancake is sitting around $13. So you're welcome. On the DeFi, you'll go to decentralized exchanges. Right here, number 2, right below SushiSwap is PancakeSwap. So I'm not telling you what to do, not financial advice. Don't listen to a random guy on the internet telling you to go buy pancakes at a place called PancakeSwap. But the reason why this is blowing up is because of ETH gas fees. The average person, people like you and me that don't want to spend $40 just to buy something, a couple $100 of a token, can go onto PancakeSwap and do almost anything that we want for any other coin that's on that chain for a matter of 5 to 11 cent fees. So honestly, it's a great exchange. It's super fun. It has a lottery. I'm just saying, if you want somewhere to play and have a good time and learn about DeFi and how it works before Polkadot comes out, PancakeSwap is definitely such a user-friendly entry-level DEX that you can get into. I think everyone will like it. So if you do want to take a little bit of a dive, I will leave some links down in the comments below. I'll put a whole comment section with all the links for you guys. But it'll help you at least get set up with MetaMask so you can hop into SushiSwap and see what's up. We have Link, which is up as well. Now, Link is something that we will be adding next week because Link I still feel is undervalued. It all depends on whether or not Link moons from here. So we'll see, but ideally it would not. Then lastly, we have our Cell token, which is up $7. Now, just to reiterate, I am a brand ambassador for Cell. I'm going to leave a promo code down below. You're going to get $30 if you deposit $200 USD into Celsius. Now, the reason why I'm so bullish on the Cell token is because of how the Cell app works. It essentially works as a flywheel effect. The more people that realize that Cell is going to be profitable, the more people earn in Cell token. So I definitely see Cell token being something that really picks up in the lulls of the bull run. And this happened last time where we saw everything trade sideways and Cell token just shot up. I really do expect a very high price for Cell, and I'm really excited what Celsius, the company, is doing with Alex Mashinsky as the head of it. Well, that's it for me, guys. I hope everyone enjoyed. What do you guys think about my REEF decision? Do you think I just got shook out? Do you think I have weak hands? Or do you think that there's legitimate concern? I'd be interested to know your perspective. If there's anything that I mentioned that's incorrect about the REEF situation, please correct me in the comments below. I really appreciate the discourse. I really want to make sure that any advice that I give you guys is going to be correct. The biggest thing is I want to make sure that everyone is profitable in this space. Okay, that's it for me, everybody. Oh, and before I go, for anyone that is here until the end, I know it's all the way late. If you guys were wondering where I was fixing my computer, so I had a little bit of an issue, a motherboard issue, but that's since fixed. So go ahead and follow me on Twitter for any updates like that, and of course the refinance discussion. Follow me on Twitter and you will get updates like these. All right, everybody, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy hodling.